Hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and your Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for the game upcoming against Granada. We've got all the latest team news. Not only have we got 3 players out suspended, there'll also be 2 key players United not going to play tomorrow. So half a team is going to be changed for the game tomorrow. We'll get into that. Also, Declan Rice, Manchester Evening News saying Declan Rice, Manchester United is definitely a possibility. Loads of things spoken about by Solskjaer. A funny excuse on why we've not been doing very well at home. You might have already seen it on social media, as well as quite a few things. Ole also talking about the transfer window and what he'd like to see happening. So lots to get involved with on the show today, and we'll be going through that. But first of all, you may see it on my top left. Today's show is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is a virtual private network. One of the best things I like about Surfshark is their data protection services, making sure my private messages, photos, videos and other sensitive material is protected. But my personal favourite feature of Surfshark and what a virtual private network can do for you is, and I think what you'll most be interested in, is that you can change your location on Netflix and other location-specific based streaming services, so you can watch them from anywhere in the world. So if you're in London, you could change your location to New York, or if you're in New York, you could change your location to London or whatever. So that, and I think as it works with Netflix, you can then get different access to different things. You can use Surfshark across as many devices as you like, even if they're used at the same time, and it's available on every device you can think of: Android, iOS, Linux, Amazon Fire TV. I think you get the picture. And because Surfshark are super nice, they're giving United Stand viewers 83% off and 3 months free when you use the code United Stand, and the link is in the description. So thanks to Surfshark for that. As I said, 83% off and 3 months free. If you've never used the virtual private network before, or a VPN, or you want to try it out, 3 months free. Links in the video description. Well worth a go if you've never tried it, or if you want to try it again, or if you want to try something new. Thanks everyone, and thanks to Surfshark. Right, let's get on with the show. Where do we start? I mean, look, I want to talk about Solskjaer. There's quite a few things that he's said. Let's start off with the Granada game, and then we'll talk about Declan Rice and some of the other stuff. So let's talk about this. So no Harry Maguire, no Scott McTominay and no Luke Shaw for the Granada game. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said not only will we be missing players because of suspension, we'll also be missing players through rotation as well. Marcus Rashford did not train today. The Marcus Rashford injury issue is not going away. I think I spoke about this on the preview yesterday, that Rashford for me would start and that hopefully he's getting past his injury issues. But he's definitely not. He's definitely not. And that's a big issue with Marcus Rashford now, that he didn't train yesterday. We're not getting any further forward with it, are we? We're not getting any further forward with the Rashford thing. This has been going on for a long time. It was going on before the international break. He missed England. He's still got the problem. We're still playing him in football matches when he's clearly not fit. And so, look, he probably shouldn't play tomorrow now. If he's missing training today, he shouldn't play tomorrow. You've got to start finding the rest. And I think a lot of you overplayed, says Brandon Stevens. A lot of people starting to say that now. So no, Marcus Rashford didn't train today. Doesn't mean he won't play, but didn't train today. I would suggest that we rest him. Eric Bailly will not be available for the game tomorrow. We'd heard at the start of the week from certain people that he was going to be available. He's not available. This is confirmed by Ole. So this means Tuanzebe. And he was asked about Tuanzebe, and Ole said, look, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire have been fantastic. Eric Bailly's done well, so there has been limited opportunities for Tuanzebe. I agree with Olivier. I think he is underrated, and I also would say that the fact that Maguire and Lindelof have played well is somewhat debatable, but even if they have, and even if Eric Bailly has, this is what I'm talking about, substitutions and rotation. We're on game 50 and Tuanzebe has hardly played, and yet you're throwing him into a game tomorrow, which is important. If he was to make 2 mistakes tomorrow and we go out, will it be Tuanzebe who's getting all the crap on social media, or should some of it be aimed at the coaching? Like, a lot of people had a problem with me saying it at the weekend. I don't give a shit. I'll say what I think. Like, just because we've won a game, I'm not going to paper the cracks. I feel that we haven't used players enough. And it's interesting because Solskjaer was asked about this. And he said, he was asked about, you've played a lot of games midweek all season. Is it hard to manage? Is it a disadvantage? And he said, we just have to accept it. But because every game is a must win, I can't really take risks. And that's Van der Beek and that's Tuanzebe. He goes into every game trying to win because he's under pressure, and therefore he can't take those risks. And unfortunately, that means that people like Tuanzebe, like Van der Beek, like Brandon Williams, like Diallo, they just don't get the game time because he doesn't rotate. Lack of tactic rotation due to time on training ground. I've never heard so much crap in my life than poor home form due to stadium banners. Utter madness, says Ben Anderson. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Twansebi plays tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. That's a good thing. Now, the only other player, so potentially no Rashford, no Eric Bailly, no Maguire, McTominay and Shaw for suspension. There is a yellow card amnesty after the game quarterfinals, which means that you don't carry yellow cards into the semi-final. So Paul Pogba's got a yellow card. If he plays tomorrow and gets a yellow card, he misses the first leg of the semi-final. If he plays tomorrow and doesn't get a yellow card, the yellow card gets wiped out for the semi-finals. What Pogba said, I'm not going to pick a team based on consequences like that. I'm not going to send a player out and say don't put tackles in. So I think we can safely say that Paul Pogba will play tomorrow. And I would say that Pogba needs to play tomorrow. He was asked about leaders. We're going to miss players like McTominay and Maguire. We're going to miss leaders. Does that worry you? I mean, to be honest with you, I know McTominay is quite vocal, but I think our biggest leaders are Pogba and Bruno. I think Pogba and Bruno are bigger leaders than Maguire, so I don't think we need to worry about that too much. But you do need to play Pogba. Like, we can't not play Pogba and then not play Rashford, Maguire, Shaw. We do need Pogba to play tomorrow. More chance of us getting Miles Kane than Harry Kane, says Jordan Constantino. So yes, Bailly will not play tomorrow, Cruz. He is not playing, and Maguire is not playing. So I don't know why people are saying Bailly and Twansebi to start, because Bailly's not playing. It will be Twansebi and Lindelof. Bailly's not playing. This is from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah, Maguire, Short, and I just want to bring this in as well because I'll forget it. So the Manchester Evening News are saying that Declan Rice interested in a move to Manchester United on England duty. He was speaking to Maguire and Luke Shaw about it, and that Manchester United have an interest in Declan Rice. Look, very, very positive that the progression is there around Declan Rice, but I'll keep saying what I keep saying. He wants to go to Chelsea. If Chelsea don't want him, we've got a chance. But if West Ham get Champions League football, we've got no chance. So basically, we all want Lingard to do well, and Ollie spoke about Lingard, but we don't want West Ham. If you want Declan Rice, you don't want West Ham to get Champions League football, and you don't want Chelsea to be interested. And then I think we've got a chance in those circumstances. And many people will tell you that Chelsea aren't interested in him, and many people will tell you that West Ham aren't getting Champions League football. So it could be very positive around Declan Rice, and it's certainly a positive to see more stories around him and Manchester United, especially from someone like the Manchester Evening News, who I know people don't rate, but they do have links in with the club. So, there you go. We'll see how that goes with that one. But I would love Declan Rice to come to United. I'd like to see a little bit more around Basuma as well, because I'd like him if we can't get Rice. But ESPN are saying Chelsea are looking to swap Rice with Christensen and Abraham. Yeah, I would be very worried. I'd be very worried about Chelsea. I think that if they want him, they will get him, because that's where he wants to go. He was asked about Twansebi and lack of confidence. He said that wasn't an issue. He did say that wasn't an issue. It's just about limited opportunities because others have been playing well. And Wintner says, how does Manchester Evening News know that Declan Rice was talking to Maguire and Shaw about it unless one of them are the snakes? I'm not getting involved in the snake thing. I saw somebody saying the other day that Dean Henderson had put a picture up of him and Harry Maguire saying brothers on and off the pitch, and someone was saying Maguire's definitely the snake. He's best mates with Dean Henderson, therefore he stabbed De Gea in the back. You just can't do that sort of thing. I don't know where they get their information from. Nobody does. That's not to say it's not true, but I don't think you can start jumping on players. And let's not forget, Harry Maguire's had a very good season since Christmas, and I think Harry Maguire with the right partner will be an even better centre-back. So I don't think we need to start talking about snakes. The only snake associated with United is that Di Maria twat I saw last night. Anyway, let's move on to other stuff that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoke about. Obviously, we've spoken about players that are going to be in. Is it a dangerous tie? He said, I always pick a team to win a game. We can't be complacent, and there will be players out and a bit of rotation as well. Just very quickly, going back to the Declan Rice thing, he was asked a good question about transfers, and he was asked about, with the Euros coming in, do you want transfers in before the Euros? Ollie said, look, I'm only focused on the league and the Europa League at the moment. That is my sole focus. But of course, I would like to get deals done quickly. And I think it's going to be very interesting because Solskjaer's mentioned this numerous times before, as have many other Manchester United managers, and they've time and time again been let down. But very clear from Solskjaer in that press conference. And I think these things are sometimes the most important things that Solskjaer says, because he doesn't normally say a lot about transfers. But of course, I would like to get deals done quickly. And I think after last year, again, that all went very late. He mentioned in the press conference, we'll come to it in a moment, about the lack of pre-season. Some people won't agree with what he said. I think some very interesting things about what he said about pre-season and excuses for home form, maybe. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I certainly do agree with him that he needs to get those deals done quickly. He also was asked about the ability of the team to be able to come back, and he said, "Look, we're a group that works hard. Manchester United is about working hard together on values and behaviours. Humble, hard-working. We never give in. But on the comeback record, it's fantastic because we've come back from behind loads of times this season." But what a sentence this was by Solskjaer. The comeback record is fantastic, but it's worrying it keeps happening. And I think this is the thing. People in life don't want to look at two sides. There's always two sides to a story. There's sometimes 4 or 5. People start chucking the comeback record from United at you and saying how great it is. And it is great. But our manager's saying it is great, but it's also worrying that we've got to go behind to come back. And he's right. We have got a great record when we're coming back. But, I mean, look, 99 comeback, ultimate comeback you'll ever see in the new camp. Solskjaer has won it. They are amazing. But Ollie's right. Are we doing it a little bit too much? We've got a great comeback record, but I'd rather just have the 3 or 4-0 win every week. And that's what we've got to work to. So I thought that was absolutely spot on by Solskjaer. Which just reminds me, I'll miss this. I mean, we're going to talk about Solskjaer and his issues around tactics, which he spoke openly about. So many good points in this press conference. So please smash a like on the video. I loved this from Ollie. This is a little bit for the old timers. But he was asked about Son and how he basically was said, are you a bit of a hypocrite about Son because, you know, some of your players have been accused of diving and you've said that about Son about diving? I thought that was a good question, and I thought it was a fair question because I didn't really agree with Solskjaer going in on Son anyway. For me, the issue was the VAR, not Son. If Son wants to go down, maybe he did catch him in the eye. Maybe he did overreact. But, you know, we have got players and have had players who've done that in the past. But this was massive what he said here. And as I said, there'll be people who absolutely love this. So he said, look, we have values at Manchester United. I got sent off against Newcastle many years ago. And I remember this. Newcastle were on a break. I think we'd had a corner. Newcastle are on a break. They're going through one-on-one. Solskjaer can't catch him, so he just takes his legs, takes the red card. Beckham rubs his head, says, well done. The Old Trafford crowd are cheering his name and everything like that. It's one of the Solskjaer moments. I mean, it's nowhere near as big as the Nou Camp, but it's a Solskjaer moment. And we all loved him for that. We were like, he's took one for the team there. He's revealed something I never knew. Solskjaer said that Sir Alex Ferguson took him into the office after the game and gave him a right, went mad at him. He said, we don't do that at Manchester United. And Solskjaer went on to say, we don't live that way at United. We want to win, but we want to win the right way. We want to win by the right way. So basically what Solskjaer is saying, that one of his more iconic moments, Solskjaer, when he took a player out and took one for the team, the manager went mad at him and says, we don't do it like that, which is interesting because I would still applaud a player for doing that now. I think it's really interesting. And maybe that's a side of Sir Alex Ferguson that I find surprising because, you know, a lot of my personality in football, and I'm sure a lot of yours who grew up under Sir Alex Ferguson, was that win at all costs, you know, that petulance, that aggression. But it's very interesting that I remember that Solskjaer thing like it was yesterday, that Sir Alex Ferguson took him in the office and said, you don't do that. So basically, Sir Alex would have rather him let the Newcastle player run through and score a goal, which just shows you another side of things. How do we make big signings when the Glazers don't back off taking dividends in the COVID market, says Subbo. But I thought that was really interesting. Yep. Olivier's watching me in geography. He said he got really into trouble. Yeah, he did. Anyway, also about Jesse Lingard, still a few good points to talk about, actually. Does he have a future at Manchester United, Jesse Lingard? This was a direct question asked to Solskjaer. And I would say it's a bad question because you're never going to get... Imagine I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Has Jesse Lingard got a future at Manchester United? God, no. Why do you think he's on loan? I'm trying to get some money for him. He's off. Can't wait to get rid of him. You've just caused a big shitstorm and you've just lowered his value. So obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can never say what he really thinks about Lingard, whether it's he wants to keep him or not. But what he did say is he's been brilliant since he left. Selfishly, we could have kept him, but Jesse deserved the loan. It's great for him and us to play more. We'll welcome him back in the summer and we'll see what happens. Hope he goes to the Euros. But he did allude to the most important thing. He said, look, Jesse Lingard's best position is arguably the position that Bruno's playing in. And that's the difficulty. And I think we all know that. Do you want Lingard back sitting on the bench, or do you want 30 million for him? Do you want Lingard back playing on the wing, which isn't his best position, or do you want 30 million for him? And I think that is, it's going to be an emotional decision if we keep him, or it's going to be a business decision if we say let him go. If Ollie doesn't change next season and continues to not rotate the squad, will that be reason for his downfall, says Salah Ahmed? I think so. Look, I still stand by that. I think we're having a brilliant season. I think we're doing really well, but I do think that the rotation and lack of substitutions are a problem. And people will point to the fact that we've made as many subs as Man City. But look, I watch every Manchester United game. Stop getting your bar charts out and actually watch the games. Do you think we've seen enough rotation this season? Because rotation isn't just substitutes. Like, if you're going to do it off substitutes, then he's picking the same 11 all the time. You could... Pep Guardiola could make less substitutions than Ollie, but his starting team each week could have 4 or 5 changes. That's rotation. It's not always specifically about subs. If it's the same 11 every week, which it pretty much is with United, that's not rotation either. So there's more than one way to look at it. But Ollie did say that keeping momentum is very important. The next thing I wanted to talk about, which I think is really important as well, is that he said that he was asked this question about the amount of games we've been playing. So it feeds into the rotation. He was asked the question about having to play lots of games. Is it a disadvantage? And obviously, I said a few minutes ago, Ollie said he's got to accept it. Every game's a must win, so it's hard to take risks, which I think basically, and he said this many times before, I always put a team out to win a game. That's what I do. You can't be complacent. But I think for that reason, he hasn't made many risks. And this is why I think that he doesn't use people like Van der Beek and Twansebi much, because he approaches every game wanting to win it and not take risks. But where it got quite interesting is he said that one of the big things is that we've missed out on training. Because we've been playing so many games, we've missed out on training because, between games, there's not many times opportunities to train. You've got people with knocks and that, so you're basically playing game to game. But he said the biggest challenge of all was having no pre-season, so we couldn't try other formations. Which I would just throw that out there. Ollie said that the biggest challenge was not having a pre-season, so we couldn't try other tactics. And all that came into my mind when I heard that was Thomas Tuchel came into the Chelsea job mid-season and took over a team mid-season that was nowhere near top 4. He's took it to a Champions League semi-final and got it into a top 4 position, and they've played 3 or 4 different formations with loads of rotation in the space of a few weeks. So I don't think that that's an excuse to not rotate, and I don't think it's an excuse to not be able to play different ways. But you can swallow that if you want to, and you can accept it. And some people will say it is an excuse, and some people will say it isn't. I don't think that is an excuse, and I think that there's plenty of... I think Brendan Rodgers came into Leicester mid-season as well. Ollie himself came into Manchester United mid-season and did fantastically well. So I think there's a bit of... In fact, forget Tuchel, forget Brendan Rodgers. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came into Manchester United mid-season when we were crap and got us playing a certain way very, very quickly and got brilliant results in no time. So I don't think that... I think a lack of a pre-season cost us results against Palace and Spurs. But I think that lack of pre-season excuses, apart from those 6 points that we lost at the start of the season, well, we were never going to win the league and we're second in the league. So I don't think the lack of a pre-season is an issue anymore. I think if we'd had a bad season, you could have used it, but we've had a very good season in the circumstances. So I don't think a lack of pre-season is really an issue for us, because I think Ollie's achieved really, really good results despite that. And I don't think it's an excuse around formations, because we actually have played some different formations this season. We have played the diamond. We did play a back 5 a couple of times. So I don't think that's an excuse, really. I think the rotation is the only real issue that we've had this season. We've overplayed a lot of players. And I think that's something that does need to improve. I think most Man United fans agree that we haven't used our wider squad enough for various reasons. Either Ollie tinkers too much with the team, 5 or 6 new players, or he sticks to the same 11. He needs to rotate maximum 3 new players per game, says DK. And I would like to see that going forward. When we can't change it now, and I think we're doing very, very well. But I would like to see that, what you've just said there. And I think Pep's a master of this as well, is that instead of making 4 or 5 changes because you want to play some of your reserve players, why not just bring a Van der Beek in for one, and take one player out? Why not, put Rashford on the bench and play Van der Beek off the left? You do it with Pogba. Why can we not do that? Why is it always, I'm only going to play Van der Beek when Bruno doesn't play? And when Bruno doesn't play, basically it's a reserve game, so I'll play 4 or 5 other players. And I think you're right. I think 1 or 2 rotational players would have been good. Twan Sebiak next to Maguire for a league game would have been good. Just give him a bit of game time. Brandon Williams at right back. Diallo, a game on the wing, but with the strong team. And I think you're absolutely spot on there, DK. I think when we make changes, we make 5 or 6 changes. And what would be nice to see is just see the first team, but with Diallo on the wing. Or the first team with Van der Beek in. Or the first team with Twan Sebiak in. And I think that would have been a better way of rotating. Nobody compared Pogba to Van der Beek, BL. I'm just saying that Donny Van der Beek can play in that position. Stop trying to make divisions in our fan base, please. We're talking constructively about rotation within Manchester United's squad. We're not having a conversation about who's better, because if you are that sort of a fan, you don't support Manchester United. Will Phil Jones play in defence? Stupid question. Heard something about Raphael Varane. Any thoughts, says Tanmai? On Varane, there's nothing to add about Varane. He is being mentioned around Manchester United a lot, but there's nothing solid yet. I'd love there to be something solid. I think Varane would be the most exciting centre-back we could sign, Manchester United. Rahul, you can do one. I don't do the same thing at all, so goodbye to you. What do you think about selling Martial? I don't think it'll happen. James Garner will be something for the summer. Dave Page. I've just realised there's a really important thing I need to bring in here. So Ollie was asked about the bad home form and why it might be, and this is where this thing is starting to come out. So he says, we have looked into it. There shouldn't be a reason why we're better away from home than we are at home. But he said some players have raised an issue that the red shirts on the red background in the split decision causes them a bit of confusion. So they're changing the banners around the ground, but it shouldn't be a reason. So I just want to make it very, very clear that Solskjaer is saying there shouldn't be a reason for this. But some of the players have raised an issue that the red shirt against the red background on a split second when you're looking for a pass can be a bit of an issue. Well, the fact that Solskjaer said that publicly, we can laugh at it. And my first reaction was to laugh at it. But, it's one of those, isn't it? I presume Liverpool could use this excuse. They've lost at home a few times. Red shirts on red backgrounds. Arsenal, red shirt on red background. They're a bit shit as well. So there might be something in this. It's one of those ones where you start thinking it's a bit like Klopp and the weather, but maybe there's something in it. I've played at Old Trafford. I'm lucky enough to have played at Old Trafford, but I played in a white kit, so I can't say that. What I would say with United is it is raised a little bit, the pitch. So your eye level is level with the red seats. Obviously, when there's a crowd there, the players probably stand out a little bit more. Although a lot of people do wear red. I don't know. But the fact that Solskjaer is saying that it shouldn't be a reason, he's right. But some of the players have obviously raised it as an issue. What are your thoughts on Hannibal Mabry? Says Subbo. Let's just wait and see what happens when he gets into the team. Devon says Man United are dead like Ollie. Mate, you've got an Arsenal badge and you're coming on a United fan channel trying to score big points with capital letters. Take a look at your life, mate. Take a look at your life. It's like laughing at the way someone smells while swimming in a bag of shit. You are awful. And the reality is, I'm very happy with where Manchester United are. We're the second best team in England at the moment on the back of what's not been a very convincing season. We're heading into a Europa League semi-final and people keep coming up to us and saying, you're shit, Ollie's shit, this, that and the other. And it's like, well, he's beaten Pep in the last few weeks. He's beaten Mourinho. We're second in the league. If this is being shit, then I tell you what, I can't wait to see us when we're good. Look, I'll put my hands up. There are issues at United. I think we all know that we are. But let's not forget, a Premier League season is 38 games. Everybody plays 38 games. Manchester United are second in the league. So, look, if that's being shit, I'll take it, to be honest. Chelsea are not the second best team in the country, Akshat, because the league doesn't lie. So you can argue everything you want to argue about, but we're the second best team in England. It's a 38-game Premier League season. Manchester City are the best team in England. Manchester United are the second best team in England. And if anybody wants to have an argument with that, maybe over 38 games, try and get more points than we've got, because the league table don't lie. You can talk to me about last season. You can talk to me about next season. I live in the now. Right now, Manchester United are second in the league, and we're 7 points clear of third place. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's where we are. And I know some of our fans don't want to listen to that, and they'll be screaming and shouting, "Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that." Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But at least we're not mid-table. At least you don't have to scroll down to page 2 to find us. Thoughts on Man City winning the quadruple? Says Subbo. I mean, it makes me want to throw up. Genuinely, mate, wants me to throw up. Ollie was also asked about a mentality change with him in charge. He said, look, I don't want to talk about changes, but our job is to get the best out of the players, and every player is different on how you deal it. What I can feel is a change in confidence and belief that we can win trophies at this football club. So, it's very interesting. It is very interesting what's going to happen to Manchester United over the next 6 months. The summer transfer window is massive. It really is. Somebody just mentioned Varane there. We've mentioned Declan Rice. If you bring Varane and Declan Rice into that team, I don't think Solskjaer will be sacked by Christmas. I don't. I think the summer is so important. You can question the way that Ollie plays football, but if you add Declan Rice and Varane to that United side, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll do well. I really do. I think you can moan about the style of football, and it's very pragmatic at times, and the tempo slows down because he plays the same team. I agree with all that. But if you add Varane and Declan Rice to that starting team, that means no more McFred. That means no more Magaluf, which are two big issues for United. And as I said, when you look at the goals we've conceded this season, most of the goals we've conceded this season are because of our centre-backs and our midfield. They're the two biggest causes of goals, from not marking players or being in the wrong. So 2 good signings this summer could make a hell of a difference to our season next year. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the responsibility to improve the way that we play, and that's on him. But I'm telling you now, a top quality centre-back and a top quality CDM, and that team goes up a level. Surely. He's getting better at squad use, and he rotates. Hopefully next he uses his subs. There is so much potential, but he needs good players in the summer. DK, which sort of fits in with what I just said. And remember when Ferguson got them to change kits mid-game? Maybe it's similar to that, says Daniel Kirk. Well, we could, if the kit colour's a problem, surely we could have just asked to play in the black kit at home. I mean, I don't know whether you can just do that, but if it is a problem, surely you could do that. Gavin O'Sullivan is a prat, says Paul Corcoran. Is a centre-back or a CDM more important, says Kieran. I think a CDM is more important, Kieran, to be honest with you. I think the way I would act with that is, do you think Maguire and Lindelof are safer than McFred? And I do. I don't like Maguire and Lindelof as a pairing, but I think they're a safer pair of hands than McFred, so I would take the CDM. Some people would go with the centre-back, but personally I trust Maguire and Lindelof more than I trust McFred, so I would go with the CDM. But I mean, if he was going to play Pogba and Fred every week, I might go for the centre-back. Jose had the best summer in the last 9 years and became second. Ollie had the worst summer and became second. Look at the potential if Ollie gets his players, says DK. That just reminds me, talking about the press conference, there is a journalist, a Norwegian journalist, who I forget his first name, Carlson, his second name. He's on every press conference. We've got an interview with him on the show tonight at 7 o'clock. Norwegian, talking about Erling Haaland and the reality there, but also some insight into 2 players that he expects not to be at Manchester United next season. I've listened to the interview, really good. It's going up at 7 o'clock tonight, so don't make sure you don't miss that one. Some really interesting insight into the summer and transfers. Second in the league because of McFred, says Bill Smith. He's drinking early. Why does McFred dominate PSG but not average teams, says Interpret. I don't remember him dominating PSG, to be honest with you. I think we dominated PSG when Pogba came on with half an hour to go. Varane and Basuma, says Velej. No career mode today, Rian. I'm doing Champions League watch-alongs at 8 o'clock on That's Football again. It's back tomorrow, career mode. Grand Theft Auto is tonight, if anyone's interested in that. In a couple of years, when we are an established team with a good centre-back and CDM, would you get rid of Maguire if he hasn't improved or got worse? Winter, I think what I said about Harry Maguire, and I said it a few weeks ago, was that for me, if you buy Varane or whoever you buy, you play them with Maguire and you hope that that's the partnership that you build a very successful team around. But I think next season, for Maguire, eyes will be on him. I think he's had a good season since Christmas. I think if you buy a top quality centre-back and Maguire's making mistakes, then maybe he's not this level. But for now, I'm willing to give him... I think he is. I think with a better centre-back, he'll be even better. But I do agree that if Maguire doesn't cut the mustard next season with a good centre-back next to him, then, maybe, I think that's year 3 for him. You've got to say, look, maybe it's not for you. Mark, do you think Ollie will ever reach his potential at Man United, says Jay Lings? I think that he's got to be given the players this summer. I'm never... Look, Mourinho deserved to get the sack. Van Gaal deserved to get the sack. But even now I sit there and think, well, if they weren't getting the players they wanted, how do you ever expect them to succeed, to have a fair crack of the whip? So I want Solskjaer to get the players that he wants this summer, so there's no excuses if it doesn't work. I think this summer we'll buy a backup to right back like Tellez last summer, says Omar. We're definitely looking at a right back. And you could argue that we definitely do need a right back, because if Wan-Bissaka gets injured, who's playing at right back? I mean, there's literally been no game time for Brandon Williams or Twan Sebi at right back. So who is the backup right back? We don't need attackers for a long time. We get a good youth system for strikers. Just give them a chance. We need CDM and defenders, says JJ. And if Ollie ever gets sacked, do you think any other Premier League team will take him? No. But I don't think any other Premier League team's going to take Lampard. And I think if Arteta gets the sack, I don't think any other team will take Arteta. I've said this before. I think some people who don't like Ollie use this as a reason to say, oh, look at him, he's shit. No other Premier League team would take him. But it's circumstantial. He's got the Manchester United job because of circumstances. So to say, oh, he must be crap because no other Premier League team would take him, but it's circumstantial. Arteta got the job at Arsenal because he's an ex-Arsenal player. Lampard got the job at Chelsea because he's an ex-Chelsea player. Ollie got the job at United because he's an ex-United player who came in to do a job and did quite well when given a massive opportunity. So I think it's a circumstantial situation. So, that doesn't mean that Chelsea were wrong to give Lampard the job, United were wrong to give Solskjaer the job, Arsenal were wrong to give Arteta the job. It's a circumstantial thing, isn't it? I don't think you can say he's shit because he's nobody else would take him. And also, if Solskjaer wins the Europa League and then next season wins another trophy and then United say, we've had enough of you, then I actually think someone like an Everton might want Solskjaer. If he wins things, people will take him. Do I think Delot will be given a chance? I'd be surprised because I think Ollie made his mind very clear about Delot last summer. So I'd be very surprised if we did. If Cavani leaves, who do you think will get the number 7 shirt? Kieran. Well, is it too much of a path to say Cavani leaves, Sancho comes in and gets the number 7 that he was going to get last summer? So you never know. You never know. I think Cavani's going to go. If I'm honest, I do think he will go. But that, I've got no insight into that. I just think he will. Why are people wanting Ollie to leave? United haven't got this far for years, says Alexander. I think people have made their mind up, haven't they? Pogba's signed a new documentary called The Pogmentary, premiering 2022 with Amazon Studios. There you go. And that's just going to boost his profile. Get him a new contract, Ed. And isn't Cavani confirmed he's leaving? Says Andreas. No, I don't think he's confirmed it at all yet. Mourinho did get 81 points, Amerston, and I don't think we'll get 81 points this season. In worst case scenario, should we try Fred as a centre-back? God. Are people down the pub? Bloody hell. Could Jesse go for 40 million? No. Not with 1 year left on his deal. And Lampard is linked to Crystal Palace, says Fergus. And if Cavani goes, I think we'll sign Sancho, says Andre. There you go. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for tuning in. Very good interview we've got coming up this evening, about 7 o'clock. Make sure, I think we'll put it as a premiere so people can chat away in the comments because it's such a good interview. I think we will do it as a premiere. So 7 o'clock tonight. Interview with one of the press conference journalists who speaks to Ollie every week, Mr. Coulson, talking about quite a few things. Very interesting about Haaland and also Sancho and Cavani and De Gea. Some very interesting comments around that. So check that out at 7 o'clock. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. I'm on That's Football at 8 o'clock for the Champions League watch along. So straight after that interview. Have a good day, stay safe, and remember Surfshark, links in the video description. Check it out, 3 months free and 83% off, virtual private network. If you've never tried one before, you may as well check it out, it's free. Thanks to Surfshark, thanks to everyone for watching. Check the link in the video description. I'll speak to you in a bit.